right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get started here. Want to welcome everybody to the push planning session. It's a really exciting time of year where, anyone kind of been craving the culture and the environment of the summer. You know what I mean? Everyone goes to their fall and spring office. They're like, wow, I just wish it was like summer again. Well, we're excited to kick this off because this is kind of the short period where we get to re-engage and really tap into that summer energy because everyone's home. It's kind of like a reunion. We got some new faces here, mostly old faces here. But we got the damn push going right now, which is probably one of the funniest acronyms ever. So we got the damn push going on, and a lot of you are performing for that. But this is to plan our winter break push and really see how we can unleash our potential and really unleash that summer energy and really get the summer culture and everything reignited in all of our offices. So just being here, you guys are going to be the leaders of the push. You guys are going to be the ones that set the standard for other reps who are maybe just starting. But let's just make sure we're taking a lot of notes. Let's make sure we're 100% engaged. Let's make sure that we're setting good examples so that in your respective offices you can really channel that summer energy. So to start that off with a ton of energy, let's go ahead and bring up our division manager, Mr. Jeff Gamboa.
Welcome back. Oh my gosh. Hey, it's good to be here. And I'm going to paraphrase some 90s hip hop. I could be anywhere in the world right now.
Well, you're here right now.
No, that would sound like a hip hop lyric, wouldn't it? No. I could be anywhere in the world right now, but I'm glad to be here with you. It's Jay-Z. Old Jay-Z, like you wouldn't know Jay-Z because you're young Jay-Z, not the Jay-Z you know, which is kind of actually a weird Jay-Z. Anyway. That's right. Hey, so whether you're a new rep, whether you've been in TLA and you've been out of the mix, or we just had a prep yesterday, as always, we want to be how engaged today? Be 100% engaged. And there are a lot of things that can mean for different people, but here in United, it means we're taking a ton of notes. It means we're engaged. It means we're going to get the most from the meeting, regardless of your level, regardless of when you started, regardless of who and where you're from. If you're here at this meeting, be here, be present. We talked about being engaged at 100% level. So that means to seek best practices. So what are you doing so that at all times you're going to find the best from, let's say, Karina on how to get the attack list going. You're going to get the best from Carlos in Tampa on how to create and set and share goals. You're going to get the best from Mike Abramos today on how to handle objections both on the phone, which we love when we can handle those objections on the phone because it gets us the appointment. And then subsequently, how do you get the objections handled when people say, well, it's Christmas, I don't want to buy. Or, it's right after Christmas, I don't want to buy. Or, you know what, it's the New Year's now. There's always something to handle, and that's what we're going to talk about today, okay? So leaders are always going to look for best practices. They're hungry for growth, so I know you're taking notes. And so here's the cool thing. I was speaking to a neighbor/friend professional of mine, and he said, so do you find it interesting or harder nowadays? I work with residents. He's a surgeon. He said, I work with residents, and with the younger generation, it's hard to keep their attention. And I kind of shared, what we talk about. And I just say, when there's a culture of learning and growth, the last thing you have to do is put energy into policing attention. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like, what's cool is I don't really ever have to police attention or police people being engaged because that's just not how we roll here. And I find that really, really, the word I don't know, but I can tell you I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. And you shouldn't either. So it's really cool to see, rather than people distracted with scrolling and messaging and whatever you guys are doing, that you can be here and get the most from the meeting. And I hope and I pray that it translates to other stuff in other parts of your life. So make sure you're taking lots of notes, pen and paper, iPads, notebooks, whatever you're using, just not on cell phones because I just kind of hate that. It's kind of weird. Right? I just think it's weird. Have personal clarity. I really want to help you find personal clarity from our instruction today. Personal clarity might be, okay, now, even though I said I was in, now I'm really in for this push and I'm going to the Bahamas. Or now, even though I said I was going to step up and earn a spot for management and make my statement with my CPO, I'm actually going to do that. And this is what I'm really excited to test for all of you. I'm excited to test if you really are going to make better decisions because, of course, you have some personal clarity. And what better way to test it than not with just a push, but with the holidays. You got a lot of distraction. And well, Julia, come on, we're on break. Right? And having the decision ability, the clarity to say, I know, but I already have something that's ready? odd concept right now, a priority that I have made, because I also have another foreign concept sometimes, responsibility that I have, third foreign concept, made an agreement to follow on. And you know, Mom, I know that last second, so important emergency, like the day of event you just planned now, so important just now this morning is what you want me to be at. But I have an agreement, a commitment. I work for a business and I'm a professional, not a college kid, because I got to take you. I got to take this and I need you to take me seriously. Now, you don't even have to say that in so many words, but those are the kind of decisions we're going to talk about here throughout the push. So welcome to our 10K Alliance Bahamas push meeting. And I always say this before every push. This is the same slide I put. All great changes are preceded, comes right before, are preceded by chaos. But I like the chaos. In fact, there's a lot of damn chaos. Get that? There's a lot of chaos going on with the damn push. And I think the majority of our people here watching, I want to say thank you and welcome to our TLA members. I want to say thank you and welcome to all our facilitators. San Juan, we have David Vargas. Over in the Bay Gulf area, we have Carlos Cordero hosting in Tampa, along with Michael Bromwitz. All of our district managers traveling, all of our brand new sales reps. Anyone here, brand new sales rep the last couple of weeks? All right. We got the one lone soldier, two, actually, Lonnie, I would say. Okay, Lonnie just got promoted to assistant. So awesome. Let's make sure we welcome them and anyone that's watching virtually. I want to say welcome to our Florida United team, the U, as we know, not to be confused with the other U, but our version of the U. And the goal of everything that we do and the goal of our Cutco organization is not just to help you make money selling knives, but to help you advance and to turn you into 5-star recruits. If you take a look at some of our agendas, in fact, I have one printed here on purpose. At the bottom of the letterhead, it says creating 5-star recruits, right? Creating 5-star recruits, 5-star graduates rather. And what's so important is that, in sports, they create 5-star recruits. 5-star recruits are when you graduate, these are the D1 offered students because they're so highly touted by schools across the country. Here, we are creating 5-star graduates, students that when you graduate, that everyone is knocking down your door. I have a few of our young individuals here on the cusp of graduation, and like Eric Palacio, for example, and several other students who are going through the process. Andrew Evans is our district manager in Metro Miami, who just went through the process. And I always find it funny that there's almost a surprise sometimes of how often and easy it is for our 5-star graduates to get offers. I was just talking to Eric today, and what kind of a student who graduates from a public university, no offense, I'm just keeping I said no offense. I'm just saying, from a public university to get offers at such a high level versus, well, I went to blank school, fill in the whatever pretentious school that will get you just because of the name something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to University of Maryland. That's a public school. I can relate to the oppression and the hatred. yet how we rise above and succeed anyway, right? You know what I'm saying? I think it's really funny to see that these offers come at a rapid rate. These offers come at a high rate. And we've got, I was just talking to Eric about his interview, and they're just essentially, so excited to have him. And, I said, Eric, all these opportunities are because of your experience Cutco through college, and they'll continue to be through Cutco through college for many of you. So, that being said, welcome to Florida United. And I want to share with you 4 anchors that represent how we carry ourselves. I was talking to actually Danny Lopez about the Metro Miami team. And they have a slogan as the Spartans, where it's an acronym and all the letters represent how they're going to carry themselves. Well, let me give you our version. If you're in an office right now, whether it's here in Fort Lauderdale, you're down in La Isla and San Juan, whether you're in Tampa with Carlos and Mike, I just want you to know every office will operate the same way. Hence, part of our United team. Number 1, you can expect, anchor number 1 is true professionalism. You can expect us to do business the right way, carry ourselves the right way, respect at the highest level, trust at the highest level, and accountability at the highest level. You can expect that. Not just about selling knives, it's about selling knives and doing it the right way. It's about carrying business the right way. It's about treating people the right way. Number 2, explosive team building. You can expect our offices to be focused on building from within. The best teams continue not to regroup, but to reload, right? Because anyone can regroup. When your team isn't doing well, when you graduate players, when your office isn't successful, when your business is crashing, you can regroup. But really, championship teams are always reloading. Why? Because they can attract and recruit talent. What better way to show that today than us having a 50-plus person personal recruiting session today at the end of this meeting. Reps are invited, by the way. We'll have pizza for all of you, and we're going to rep drive and get people onto the team and watch what happens. Also, those of you aspiring assistant DOMs and branch and district managers, watch what we facilitate today. This is on-the-job training. This is field training right now on how to facilitate a rep-driven, three-way texting program just like that within a 48-hour span, which we essentially did this since Wednesday, and you can create a surge. We see it all the time in offices. Mike Abramovitz recently just created a surge in Clearwater where they went from nothing going on to massive action from the entire team creating personal recruits. And we're going to talk about that today. You can expect high standards of sales performance, and you can expect aggressive pursuit of growth. Okay. And the reason I cover these at the majority of meetings is because, you know, you can work anywhere else, and you can sell Cutco anywhere else. But when you're specifically in Florida United, you can expect these great sets of standards to work under and work for. And those of you that are running an office and assistant to share and to carry across the division. So today we're about light bulbs, right? Give me a light bulb. La bombilla. Right? So when something hits you, and Carlos talks about how to set goals, and he has this one killer line that just makes all the difference in your presentation, give Carlos a light bulb so he knows. When Karina says, you know, have you thought about the 3 people that you say love you to the most? And when she explains that, you go, OMG. Oh my God, that makes sense. Give him a light bulb. Why? Because the light bulbs show, hey, I'm getting it. I'm getting an idea. Okay, and we're going to share a lot of light bulbs today. The power of this group is there's power in numbers. You know, it's been a lot different than the previous TLAs, right? It's cool to get the family back. I love this reunion. This is just as exciting of a reunion as Olean. You could argue better because we have new people here into the mix. Okay, and then of course I want to say thanks to Christina Fernandez in San Juan, and of course to Mila Amy over here in Fort Lauderdale for facilitating the damn push. And here's what's really cool. We are generating sales right now that we would not have generated without a push. We are generating momentum sales that I really believe are activated, action activated, because we have a push that's making it intentional right now. And 3 things. If you're in TLA, I would take note and watch what Mila and Christina have done to create an alliance, because you yourself will have to do that. Number 2, if you're part of the alliance, use this as what it's for. Ready? It's December Alliance Momentum Push. So create that momentum. If you are here, also virtually, I can see a lot of hands. If you have already created some sales for the damn push so far, I'd like you to raise your hand. Even if it's an average order, if it's nothing, we've got sales already coming. Andrew Evans even selling. Ready? I rolled 2 orders last night and 1 this morning. Promo 1/3. Okay. Anyway, so promo 1/3. So thank you so much. Special thanks. I want to say thanks to Carlos and to Mike for facilitating on the Bay side, in Tampa Bay. I want to say thanks to David Vargas for San Juan facilitating. I want to say thanks for our next level members for helping us make this a great meeting. I want to say thanks to our district managers who are here present, really just making a difference. It's just exciting to see most of our district managers. Some people are wrong, but great to see our district managers here to impact the team the way they should. And why this meeting? Because before you set off on executing a plan, it's always good to regroup right beforehand, right? They always say ready, aim, fire. This is our chance to aim for a little bit. I also want to say we're here because we're creating our manager in training class for 2019, our MIT class. So if you are someone who is not in TLA, if you're watching virtually, or a young man, what is your name? Michael. Michael. If you're Michael over here, or one of our new reps in Tampa, San Juan, I want you to know that we are recruiting right now for a managers in training class for the spring of 2019, meaning if accepted, you'll be able to go on a track with extra weekly and monthly training so that you can put yourself in a position to be playing a management and a significant management role in one of our offices for the summer of 2019. And here's what's really exciting. This is how you know you're moving along. We're now recruiting for the TLA class of 2019. Isn't that weird? So raise your hand if you're in TLA. You old now. You're like dated. You're not even new and fun anymore. You're just like the old Knicks, believe it or not. So maybe that'll be a moment for you.
And you put on your resume that you're MIT class.
You can put that on your resume. Ready? Moment. And I hope all of you are either experiencing currently or about to experience as a new rep that Cutco TLA, Cutco through college moment. And what that is when you really understand that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing after college, But A, I want to be, for sure, a 5-star graduate. B, I want to have the most options. And C, I want to put myself in the best position. So with that being said, people will use Cutco as their Cutco through college track. And many people in this room, most of this room is TLA. You guys have made that decision that, okay, I'm going to use Cutco to set me up for when I graduate so that I can get into that business school, law school, med school, whatever the case may be for you. And here's a typical track, as you know, right? In TLA, as you share this with your offices this summer, your first summer is about selling so you can earn a spot to get on Jeff's radar, as they say, so that by the end of August, you're getting accepted for TLA. Then you go through fall and spring, go through the TLA process where you're learning business, leadership, and life skills while also learning how to sell more Cutco within our great college student program. And then you go through summer 2 where you learn to run an office and build an office from scratch. Our branch opportunity is a premier college summer internship where you're learning how to run a real, and that's the key word, real from scratch business with the support of Cutco, and you learn to build a business. And what a lot of our students will do, and I have several examples here, so they'll come back after their summer, go through TLA again. We have Eric who's doing that right now, right? I can see Eric. I think Maggie's doing that right now. We have Andrew who's doing that through college or has done that through college. And then you come back and you run an office again, but this time instead of building an office, you're growing an office. Learning how to increase the results as Andrew did as he went from one summer to the next, branch number 1, branch number 2. Or some people will come back and choose to activate their sales independence and choose to run a business more like a realtor or an interior designer, someone with a private book of business. So instead of running an organization where they manage a group of people, they're running an organization where they manage a book of clients. And that's our Cutco sales professional, independent selling. In fact, many of you in TLA will end up going this route after you go through this direction or through this step process. And then of course, summer 4, you graduate and you have options of being a district manager, which is what several people are interviewing for right now. We have Trent Hampel, who's in the mix for being a district manager, who only started 1 year ago. We have Daniel Belton in Tampa. We have Stephen DeFala in Clearwater, and we have Michael Sullivan in Tallahassee, who are district manager candidates, and all of which have been, I guess, starting within 1 or 2 years on the job, which is really cool to see. Or some will pursue the CSP route. And in some cases, some people will pursue a 5-star graduate opportunity where they'll use their resume as leverage to go somewhere else. And here's what's really cool. No matter what, the goal is to put you in that position. My father used to always say, make sure you have options. Whatever you choose, make sure you're choosing the best of a lot of options. And that's why ultimately I'm still here today. I made sure that when I graduated from the University of Maryland College Park, I made sure that I had options, not just for med school, but for all the different jobs. And it's about making a statement. I think that's really important today. For all of you TLA members right now, this is it. This is really it. In fact, this is so it that I have my call next week with Scott on finalizing territories. This is so it that in 2 weeks, I'll know where in Virginia and where in Georgia we're going to be able to put our Florida United exports. This is so it that in 10 days, less than those 2 weeks, I probably will be able to announce on the TLA WhatsApp who are the district managers being offered a territory, what territory they're going to go through to start their 2-3 year career with us. Pretty exciting. Okay, pretty exciting. Stay on my radar, as you always know. The key to advancement is making sure that you have leverage and that you're visible to the division manager who ultimately makes the decisions. So one day when you're a med student and one day you're in the law firm, you'll use the same type of experience here of getting on my radar, the Cutco DVM, to also get on the future attendings radar when you're a physician, or on the future head of the law firm, partner of the law firm's radar when you're doing law school at one point, and so forth and so forth, okay? If you don't have my phone number and you're in TLA, well then you're just a hot mess. But if you're new and you don't know me, here's my phone number. These are my digits, yes they are. 410 is Baltimore, and feel free. Now, if you're in TLA, it goes go through WhatsApp, you know that. If you're a rep, just text me directly, because I use WhatsApp only if you're officially in TLA or MIT. Cool? And at the end of the day, we're a performance business, so CPO talks. And a long time ago, I used to say this to people when they would come up after a meeting, and let's say Julia came up, Jeff, I'm so excited. I'm there. I'm going to run a branch. And I say, just show me. Show me CPO. Show me that you can do the job. And sometimes I'll say, if someone's really cocky, hey, I can't hear what you're saying unless I see what you're selling. Mm-hmm. Right? Because sometimes people will talk all the time and say, oh yeah, I'm going to be number one. And you know, when I do something, I always do it at 100%. That's my favorite. I always do it 100%. Right? I'm always performing. Like I just, you know, I demand excellence. Really? Well, then show me excellence. Show me excellence. Okay. Circle of influence. We talk about this often in Florida United, but the people that you mentor from or get mentorship from, the people that you surround yourself with, and the people that you certainly influence play a big role in the happiness of your life, the success of your life. And I found that when you really can narrow in 3 to 4, at most 5 people who you're going to say, these are my top mentors, when you can zero in on these are the 3 to 5 people that I not just hang out with, but actually take advice from and follow the most. And then, of course, the people that, and it might seem I'm only 19, 20, the people that you choose to be intentionally mentoring will force you to be a better person. They will hold you more accountable. And I can say when these circles have been aligned and perfect for me and exciting and really intentional, man, what a great life. What a happy life. What a learned life. What a great community life. What a great mentoring life. So as we go into this meeting, why do we have this meeting? So we can really dial in and get these right for you. If you're a district manager, if you're an assistant manager, we can dial in and figure out, okay, who's talking the talk, but who's really walking the walk this push? Let's give them the most attention. If you're here as a rep, as a TLA member, who do I need to hang out with that's selling? And who do I stop avoiding who keeps talking about selling but is still not selling? Who do I really need to listen to and get tips from and get advancement tips from and sales tips from? We'll talk about that today. Cool. Light bulbs, yes? Give me a sympathy light bulb. Just give me one. Yeah, okay, cool. Like, thank you. And then the main event, we're going to talk about this at the end of the meeting, but we've got the Vector Cutco Awards, the now 5th moniker used for this damn event. But it is still the year in banquet to me. Anyhow, we have January 25th, 26th. What I can tell you is last year's format, new format, is my favorite format. I'll say it again. Last year's new format is my favorite format, where everyone gets to come in on Friday. We start instructing, we start teaching, we start recognizing overnight, and then at the end of the day, we break, and then the award ceremony starts at 3 o'clock, where the parents come in and they get a chance to see the best and the brightest of vector marketing. Here's what I'm so excited about. What's that? Here's what I'm excited about. I'm excited that you're also going to bring your significant others to this event so that they can see what it's like. So I just want to clarify, we're going to talk about this later, but the Vector Cutco Awards, it's not just an awards night. It's a full-blown sales leadership and growth conference. So we're going to hear from the best of the best, region-wide. So make sure you're signing up. We're going to actually hand sign-outs out later, and make sure you get registered for the event. And then more importantly, get your folks and get your friends and family to the event. It's going to be awesome. I think in the vicinity, I think we break, I don't know, just shy of 300, 400 people last year, something to that effect, from all across Florida United, Carolina, Georgia, Coastal, Florida Atlantic, Virginia, and yeah, those are the divisions. So yeah, I was just going down the roster. Cool. So what I want to do for the push, and if I could get some help here with the calendars, if you are in a hub right now, San Juan, if you're in Tampa, we can hand out the calendars real quick. Thank you. Thank you.
Enough for people to use one for now. Make sure
So I'm going to go through for the next few minutes the calendar. If you're part of TLA, this probably looks familiar, like every push. Yep. Every push. Every damn push. Okay, real quick, if I could get your attention to the calendar, right? Let's look at the front together. Let's look at the front. So if you take a look up here, technically we're up here on the 15th on Saturday. Okay, so I want to zero in, dial in to what's important right now. First thing, it says Alliance PC, so it's a little pixel, sorry. Alliance Squad PC. So if you haven't already, make sure you meet one-on-one with your manager, the manager that's going to manage you through the push, right, whatever office you're in. and they're going to go through your schedule. They're going to come up with agreements, and they're going to set your goals. They're going to talk about how to navigate through things. They're going to check your attack list, and that's really important. We really want to button up your fundamentals. If you go to Wednesday the 19th, I want you to circle where it says 100 to 200 plus. Okay. The benchmark is to make sure you have no less than 100, but we talked about this as a district team. Really, the goal is 200 plus on your attack list. And I'm going to probably reference Mike Abramowitz in just 2 seconds about what he said earlier this week in reference to having 200, please. So, Mike, if you could prepare for a second. The goal is to have 100, ideally 200 plus for your attack list. So you have from now until Wednesday to work on it. Okay? For many of you, for most of you, and I'm hoping this, for most of you, this is more of an issue of just getting organized, not quantity, okay? For some of you, you may have to scramble a little bit to get this to the proper number. But ready? No matter how much excitement you have for a push, if you have no people to call, then it's going to be a really rough push, okay? Wednesday, now some of the times are subject to change, but Wednesday at every local office, the Andrews Metro Miami office, our office here, Clearwater, Tampa, the 4 new offices. We have Jackson and Tallahassee, Ocala, Pasco Hernando, and what am I missing? And Polk County, San Juan, Fort Myers, South Miami, all of the districts. If I missed you, I apologize. We're gonna have a local boot camp from 3 to 6 on Wednesday. So already 3 objectives, and you can write little dashes and notes if you like. Number 1 is we're gonna make sure your demo's on point. We're gonna walk through the demo, walk through the blue book. We're gonna walk through your closing. Number 2, we're gonna make sure your recommendations program is on point. Okay, so your demo / closing, your demos, and then number 3, we're gonna button up your schedule. Okay. So I'm going to stop and keep this like in different compartments. The most important thing right now is creating your attack list. And, you know, I apologize for almost not thinking too small, but kind of giving an out and for being a little weak on standards when I said 100 for attack list, because Mike was just so very eloquent, or very direct, if I really should say, in, you know, how your attack list should be. Actually, Mike, are you free? Can I turn things over to you? And I know this is impromptu, but I want you to share what you said to the team the other day in regards to, I'm going to put you on the screen here, what you said in regards to having 200 for a proper attack list. Can I put you on the spot here real quick? Hold on, I can't hear you. 1 sec. Ready? That's going to be loud. Mike, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Cool. So I bluntly said to the district team when we were on a conference call, Jeff asked me, he said, how many of these numbers would someone want to have? And I said, really, it's about the outcome. It's like, how many phone numbers really doesn't matter. It's like, if you show up to the phone, if you show up with 10 appointments ahead of you and you leave with 20, so that way you have 20 set up ahead of you when you start to push, that's all that really matters. If you have 20 appointments ahead of you when you push, he said, how many phone numbers would it take for that? I said, as many as it takes. I mean, how many Facebook messages do you send? How many phone numbers do you use? As many as it takes. He said, well, if you have to put a number, 50. I said, put it this way. If you look right now at how many customers have bought Cutco from you at this point, in most cases, it's like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 people who bought Cutco from you. And if you have 60 people who bought Cutco from you, you should have averaged at least 5 to 10 recommendations from those 50, 60 people. So therefore, you should have like 300 to 500 to 600 recommendations from those people, or can at least get those recommendations from those people and get access to their Facebook. So resources is really not the issue here. It's resourcefulness that's the issue. And I think that every single person should have no less than 200 names and numbers. And if you are less than that, the alarm should be going off that you should be using your resourcefulness to at least be at the 200 windows.
Yeah, and Mike, this isn't in the program today, but you know, Mike's office has a very, very efficient and very specific program on generating appointments through Facebook, right? What a great platform to help either supplement or to make up your lack of attack list. And Mike, maybe this makes the agenda later on, but we'll definitely get that out to you to help supplement. But I want to go back to the point. If you're not flush with recommendations right now and you've done 30 or 40, just multiply the amount of people you've shown Cutco to, let's say it's even 30 times 5 to 10, that's 150 to 300. And yes, oh, well, I sold to a lot of them in the summer. Not that many. All of you are under 30K mostly. Right? That's a direct, I'm calling you out, yes. Because if you have 150 to 300, well, I've seen most of them. No, you haven't. Most of you are under 30K. That's an appropriate one. That's a good one. Right? If you're under 30K, you haven't seen all these people. And if you see these people, I feel like I'm doing an interview. Then they should give you 5 to 10, and you know what happens. That's an interview. Why am I interviewing TLA? I have no idea. Anyway, thank you, Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So back to the calendar. Let's do this. Let me share screen. Go here. Desktop. Okay, here we go. So back to the calendar, please. So next week's Wednesday, so make sure you have it in your calendar. Next week, have your attack list due. And then we'll have a boot camp. Then you forward to next weekend. It's like the weekend before the holiday, weekend before Christmas to celebrate. We have a Head Start phone jam. You can see it in your calendar. Now, I put down 3 to 7 p.m. Ready? To me, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the time. Okay. In fact, you can even cross out the time. I just care that you get 100 calls before December 26th, which is the all-day phone jam, right? So we'll go backwards. December 26th, Wednesday, the day after Christmas, is when all of Florida United will be on, and everyone's going to be making 200 plus calls, 150 to 200 plus calls together. What Mike is saying, and this is so important, arrive to that with 10 already set for the push. And then leave that with another 10 set for the push. That's how you set up a great push. That's how you set up oh, I'm going to Bahamas. It just depends what level. That's the kind of push you set up. So I don't care. So I put down here, maybe you make 50 to 100 calls on Saturday, and then 50 to 100 calls on Sunday, so you get your 100 in. Like for me personally, if I were selling Cutco, I would probably break it up. I would do 50 on Saturday, and I would do 50 on Sunday. And I don't know which one's going to get better response as you get closer to the holiday. But ready? It doesn't matter, because if I'm making 100 calls, I'm still making 100 calls, right? Andrew has a comment.
Yeah, I think the number probably needs to be 150, by the way. If you want to set up 10 appointments, just because during the holidays, you're going to make more phone calls and less people answer. So I would probably do like 50 on Saturday and 100 on Sunday, or 75, 75.
Yeah, for those of you that can't hear, Andrew's suggesting that we make it 150, and I tend to agree, 150. But to me, it doesn't matter. You could do a whole all-day phone jam on Sunday. That's fine. I probably wouldn't do that, okay? Because I have, playoff potential in my life. But that's NFL reference. But Saturday, Sunday makes sense. Can you make 50? I think the best time in the morning is from like 9 to noon, 9 to 1 on Saturday. And then Sunday, you can start as early as 12 and 11 o'clock and go straight through all day long, okay? That's the next benchmark, making sure you make 100 calls, right? And you have the holidays. And ready? I just want to put something to rest. Well, it's the holidays, so it's harder to get appointments. That's not true. We deal with fill-in-the-blank holiday or objection all the time. In the summer, it's Mother's Day, right? Memorial Day. And then at the end of the summer, it's Labor Day, 4th of July. And my kids are going back to school. My kids just got out of school. We deal with it all. And in the fall, it's Labor Day. It's Halloween. Father's Day is in the spring. It's Thanksgiving, Christmas. And in the spring, it's New Year's, Father's Day, Easter. I mean, year-round, there's something to work around. So, and I'm just going to say this is being recorded. You can listen to this again. Mrs. Jones, and you just throw this into your phone approach. And I know Mike's going to mention this. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I know it's Christmas and Christmas Eve tomorrow, but I'm working really hard for my contest, and that's why I'm making calls here on a Sunday. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I know it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day tomorrow, but I'm really working hard for my contest. That's why I'm making 150 calls here on Saturday. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm actually setting people up for after the holiday, so I know it's way easier for them. So could you do Thursday at 9 a.m.? Or sorry, you can't do that. 10:30 a.m.? Or would Friday at blank be better for you? It would really help me out. Right? I know, and you addressed the holiday ahead of time. Okay, I know I'm taking a little bit from Mike's talk, so I want to stop there. So just as long as you mention it, you shouldn't have a problem getting appointments. It's number of calls that will prevent you from getting appointments. Okay. And then here's what Mike talked about: Wednesday, all-day phone jam. I put down 1 to 9. Your office might go earlier. It's subject to change, but you're starting no later than 1. Like in the pilot, we'll have a 12 o'clock, we'll have a 11:30 arrival with lunch and food, and we'll eat together. And then we'll role play from 12, and right at 1 o'clock, we'll do a countdown, and then the horn will sound. You know, we'll have a little foghorn or a bell, and then we'll start at 1 o'clock. Arrive with 10, and then leave with 10, as Mike says. And then the alliance starts. And it's pretty straightforward. Every morning, when it's not a holiday, we have a morning meeting. You guys know how this works. I'm also doing this so you can practice how to explain this to your reps in the future. We'll have our alliance meeting, summer style. We're practicing the same exact thing, 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. Okay. And why is that? Because the first hour till 8:30 is instruction and stats. You guys remember alliance? What's the second more important hour?
Phone calls.
Phone calls at the perfect time, 8:30 to 9:30. What a sweet spot to get a hold of Mac moms, Mac customers. And then it even tells you when your appointments are allowed. Now, here's one thing I want to say up front. I will not accept, your managers will not accept, oh, I have an appointment at 9:30, I have to leave early. No, you don't, because the calendar said your first appointment's at 10:30. Oh, I could only see them at 9:30. Well, you shouldn't have offered 9:30. So now you have to call the customer and unprofessionally reschedule. Right? It on purpose says starts at 10:30. It gives you an hour gap to get to your appointment. Oh, but they can only see me at blank. Then you got sold. Come on, you're in TLA. You have to be able to offer times, okay? So here, just to make sure, see where it says booked, if booked, I wouldn't do an 8:30 on Thursday unless I was fully booked for the weekend. I would leave that for extra phone time, okay? Alliance meetings are 7:30 to 9:30. And just like the summer, if you remember, every Monday and Friday, I have a conference call, and I'll chime in to part of your alliance, okay? Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Here's what I have on Saturday. Take a look at on the 29th. It says push alliance phone jam 9 to 12. That's if you don't have appointments booked. Like if you're scrapping for appointments, you need to be on the phone in the morning, or you can be doing appointments in the morning, straight through. Okay. And you know, Mike Abramovich says this best, and he's just quoting all the great push week managers and offices of our time. Is that you get up in the morning, you have alliance at 7:30. You grow together, you learn together, you grind on the phone, and you work till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If you do that right, and this is going to seem like a foreign concept, you actually have free time in the evenings. If you really do the push the right way. Like people, it's funny, when I was a college student, I loved push weeks. I worked a lot. I was up early. We had our version of alliance meetings. I would work straight through till 6, and I wouldn't do appointments past 7 o'clock, only once in a while when I needed to hit a big day, and I would plan those days out. For me, Mondays and Tuesdays, I would go late night demos. But other than that, Wednesday we had team meetings. Thursday I had friends to meet up with, and Friday and Saturday was the weekend, so I wasn't trying to do that. Mm-hmm. But I would still get my 4, 5, 6, 7 appointments in a day. When was the last time, ... if ever, you've done 6 appointments in a day? I challenge you to have that first time this month. See what happens. I bet you sell some Cutco. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, we have another all-day phone jam on Sunday, so no appointments. In fact, I have a school of thought, and you can talk to your manager. I have a school of thought that if you want to do appointments in the morning on Sunday, you're more than welcome. But I don't expect my guys, I expect them to take a recharge Sunday to say, all right, let me get time with family, whether it's church, just sleep in, whatever it is, reorganize so that I'm ready to rock and roll again for week 2. That's really up to you and your manager. You set that up on your PC. Then normal alliances. Now let me cover New Year's and New Year's Eve. So we'll have the morning alliance meeting on New Year's Eve, but we certainly won't have a New Year's Day morning alliance, okay? You can show up to the office. It'll be closed for sure. Good, I got 3 jokes, 3 laughs. But ready? Here's a big one. Ready? Don't sleep and don't lose the New Year's Eve opportunity, okay? Selling on the day of a holiday, okay, is easier because what kind of a mood are people in? Happy festive spending, okay? You get a lot of these. Yeah, sure. I'm serious. You do. Naomi, sweet, yeah, sure. Hey, what time's the party? Yeah, here's the card. You get that all the time, but you have to have appointments booked. You have to have appointments booked, okay? And I'm recommending 10:30, 12:30, 2:30, 4:30, and you still have time to even take a nap before you go to your dinner, before you go out. And ready? Don't put yourself into the customer's shoes, who you're selling to, not your own shoes. Don't assume that everyone does anything on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Right? For my family, at least in the last, I don't know, the later half of my life, once I was in college, you know what New Year's Eve and New Year's Day was? It was great, don't bother me. Awesome. Let me relax day. Let me watch football. Let me sleep in. There's nothing going on day. No, by the way, it's 10-80-10, right? 10%. You have families where the moment they wake up, like New Year's Eve is a whole day event, and they have 10% where people do absolutely nothing. What most people do at my age, because I'm a Mac minus the, right? No, I'm a Mac. I'm a Mac, yo! Holy crap! I sold my house. Okay, so I'm a really good Mac. I'm a really good Mac.
You're one of those day one phone doing stuff.
That's right. Here's what I'll say. What most people do, like the customers you have, they'll go to like a dinner. They're not doing the whole stay out till midnight and watch the ball. In fact, a lot of times, how many of you have folks that say, yeah, I fell asleep before the ball dropped? Yeah, a lot. Okay. New Year's Day, here's what I'm recommending. 12:30, 2:30, 4:30, 6:30, and 8:30, or asterisk, or a phone jam 5 to 9 if you're not booked. If you didn't have a successful Sunday, I would block out 5 to 9 here, or you can do demo straight through. And don't assume that people want to take New Year's Day off because they're hungover, they went out. I'm just telling you, most of them got a really good night's sleep because they went to bed before the ball dropped and woke up late on a day they probably didn't have to work. Most people don't have to work. Okay? And then back at it for Morning Alliance. And then the last part I want to show right here is on the 7th. I know a lot of you, how many of you go to school where first day of classes for the spring is on the 7th? Okay. So here's what I'll say. Jam it out here, but I'm just going to throw this out there. Just because your classes go back doesn't mean I expect you to go back for class if your push is on a roll. Every year we have people in the region that won't go back to school because it's syllabus week. And they have someone pick up the syllabus. And if you're telling them, oh my gosh, Jeff, I have to be there for the first week, you're probably a freshman. Jeff, oh my gosh, Jeff, I need to be there for the first week. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm not forcing that. I'm just saying, man, if you're on a roll, I wouldn't stop. And we have people all the time that will finish their push strong and go up a couple of days later. Or they crank out the virtual appointments during this week. The push ends at midnight here on the 11th. And all orders will be counted based on tabs, entry, and to roll up. Cool. Any questions so far? Any extra thoughts from our DMs on what I covered?
I think for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, a lot of people actually go shopping on that day. Like,
I do.
so many people, yeah.
I do.
The deals are the best. So if they're gonna shop anyway, they might as well shop with you. So
Yeah, Mrs. Jones, if you're gonna shop anyway, you might as well shop with me.
it's true.
Yeah.
So, like, let's go back.
I'm gonna go to Andrew in a second. Do you guys know that why also we increase sales? Like, it's kind of crazy to think that we don't do the traditional retail, all of our sales and all of our pushes before the Christmas holiday. We do it after. Why? Well, because people are spending money and time buying gifts for other people now, right? Who do they buy gifts for now after the holidays?
Themselves.
Yeah, themselves. But also, there's the concept of new year, new things. New year, new me. New Year's resolution. I'm going to join the gym to start the year. I'm going to I'm guilty. We just bought new bed linens and bed stuff. I never buy bed stuff, but it's New Year and just get started. We bought new accessories for the house. Like I'm seeing this live now. I'm now living this. But it's a thing. It's a thing to get. Well, let me get the new workout gear. Let me get new something, and it just makes sense. So, Andrew, you were going to comment real quick.
Yeah, sorry. I would really pay attention later with the phone skills talk. I think that a lot of you guys can slide by during like SC2 and peak parts of the summer, especially if you have a lot of momentum and presentation based, having really awful phone skills. And that's really just not the case for this push. And I've known because I've done it like several times. I remember my first few first few winter breaks trying to do the push. And it is just significantly harder to get the actual appointments. And again, you usually sell more on those appointments. So you just have to have the right mentality going into it. And the reason I say that is if you're good on the phones, you're still going to need to book up a bunch of appointments. But it really comes down to like how aggressive you are and how good you are at handling the objections on the phones. Because every single year I watch like reps that like get a hold of all their customers and then they just like always like, hey, can you call me back? Can you call me back? And everyone's traveling. So it's really capitalizing when you do get people on the phone and making sure that you book up the appointment every single time. Because if you start off that push and you're not able to like handle the objections and like your first 3 phone jams go bad, you go in the second week and then you got like 3 days left.
Yeah, and you're playing catch up.
Yeah, and you're playing catch up and trying to catch up with it. So the suggestion I make is that really number one, hone in your phone skills because this is going to be an important opportunity for you too. If you're going to be an assistant manager or branch manager next year, like you want to know how to do this well. And you might have had some sales success, and I know like there are people in the room that have had like really high sales, but you're just awful on the phones, and you've gotten like a little bit of luck in that area. And so you really use this as an opportunity to hone in and develop that skill set. And the second recommendation that I make is like, for most of you too, again, like especially if you're training to be like a branch manager or assistant manager, like most of you all have never actually made 100 calls in a day. You know, there's probably a couple people a year that have actually ever done that. Some of you all have never even made 50 calls in a day. And that might sound like a lot to you guys, but like there's a lot of careers where people make like 500, 600 calls on a daily basis, right? So like challenge yourself before you walk into an office on like certain days, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday phone jam, or on certain days when you walk in, like make a commitment before you walk into your office. Like make a commitment. It's like, hey, before I leave here today, like I'm not leaving until I've made at least this many calls. Make a commitment for yourself. And regardless of how the actual results come about and how you do for the push, you're gonna be training yourself positively so that when you go out next summer, you're just more equipped and you've done the work in and you've trained yourself to like how to set a goal and hit it, and also like how to commit to a certain amount of actions, and you can actually tell and teach that to other people, because it really starts whether you're a branch. This is a super crucial, but also as an assistant manager, it always starts with you all too. If you're an assistant manager in the office and like, you know, like the district manager or branch manager can't point to you all and show like, hey, here's how you actually rock the phones and here's how you do a good skill set because you've never led the way in that area, then it's just like you're not gonna be able to help support and lead the office.
You have to be able to do it. I think of Carlos and many stories where Carlos is watching one of his reps just go downhill on a phone call. Just give me the phone. Carlos, you know this, right? You give me the phone, and he'll make the call as the guy, and he'll say, and then he'll go there like that, and it's like, okay, because you have to be able to do that. If you're not good at the phone, you can't do stuff like that. And when a rep says, "Oh, 100 calls," who does that? Like as a rep, I sold a lot of Cutco. I just laugh and I go, "Yeah, that's what you do." But if you haven't done that, it's hard to have that confidence. So, I'll go back here. You sure can. I'd love to get a point.
So here's the point. If you knew that the hardest you'll ever work with the entire push is before the push starts, you're gonna be blind like hundreds of phone calls and but then you can actually do the right approach way, get ahead and text message the right way. Easy scoop up equipment, right? Hire your budget. It's pretty much easy scaling. Propose Facebook for you, test recommendations, and you just do 20, and then you can set 20, or like do 3, set 3, do 4, set 4, and just makes it so simple and efficient. But you got to grind to get those first, 20 booked up. And during the holiday season, like Andrew's talking about, it takes real grit work, not finesse. Just like running a branch, like as we discussed yesterday, as Eric talked about. So I just want to echo that point.
Michael, thank you. Good point made. So let's finish up the last few thoughts here, and then what we'll do is transition to some testimonials, and then we're going to rock and roll, take a break before we get into instruction here. You guys have seen this before. So this is the agreement portion. And for you aspiring branch managers and district managers, this is kind of a summary of how do you get someone excited and build value in the alliance, okay? For most of you, I don't need to tell you what happens during the 7:30 to 9:30 session. It's positive, results based. But it tells what the alliance is designed to do. And I'm not going to read through this. You can read this. But this is essentially the bullets of if you were to give a stump speech. But here's the part that I think, Mike, this came up organically in one of our meetings in 2017. And it says, alliance members achieve at a high level because of the following. And this is something I'll say word for word when I talk about alliances. And if you're a rep, I'm just kind of speaking to you if you just started. That whenever you want to have a big sales surge with us, or in general, I would say in life and athletics and fitness and in spirituality and faith, create an alliance. Number one, because you always need positive pressure. Right? Because you set a goal and then you make agreements, but then you have to ... you have to honor them. That's the part that's hard when you make agreements. Number two, create circles of influence. So you're around like-minded people, like-minded performers. And the third part is high-level coaching. And that's the part that, and I was talking to Eric this morning, that's what we do. That's our career. Right? So when Eric chooses us or not, or chooses us or not, I told him now that money is not the thing that I chase. I don't chase money anymore. Right? The thing that just fills my heart and this job satisfaction, what is so exciting, like that, those are that on that group that we're on that other group. You can't beat high level coaching when you're able to teach young people and mentor, and you're responsible. It is your fault when they're all successful, indirectly and sometimes really directly. Okay, so I think that's important. At the bottom, we have agreements that you'll make on your PC. See, I'm totally cool if someone says, "Oh, I have a trip during the push." If it was agreed to ahead of time, I'm not cool with, "Well, it just came up." Okay, and then of course my favorite part is you get your parents to sign off, because some of you still have parents that treat you like you're in high school, and that's cool, but we'll deal with it that way. Cool? Sign off. Got it? Okay. So, ready? In a nutshell, get your attack list ready. Skills check. We'll take out the 150 plus calls before the all-day phone jam, and then the all-day phone jam. That's in a nutshell what we're looking at, okay? So we've got the boot camps and workshops, which I love, and I always show these pictures. This picture I've shown for years. This is from 2009. Do you guys know this picture?
Yeah.
I always show this picture for Alliance. This is Theo Fasinoli, one of the #1 CGC reps in the entire country. This is Colleen Theo, Hall of Fame Cutco member. Right? This is Mustafa Nasser, the district manager of 5 years. And there's 2 more FSMs in the back. And this is from a summer alliance in my Baltimore pilot office back in 2009. We were #1 in the region that year. Okay? And to all the power that came from those workshops. The communication, conference calls, and WhatsApp, that's really important to post all the results. Just to be clear, we're posting starting Bahamas push, we're posting doing the job or hire. Okay? So doing the job or hire is homemaker or hire, or sponsorship or hire. Okay? And double sponsor? Really, you're confusing me. I'm going to say single sponsor, I think. Maybe it's double sponsor. We'll come back, right? We're going back to summer standards. And then we'll have a special announcement to be determined. Of course, every all-day phone jam, just like the summer, we're going to have a drawing for a raffle and some type of prize to be determined. So just forget what the prize is. If you need to know the prize to get motivated to make phone calls, we're already in trouble. And it should be a byproduct, but we'll bring attention to the phone calls. TBD, to be determined, okay? Don't forget, make more calls and humor devils, MMC, DMD. Really play the averages. Don't get too high on the high. Don't get too low on the low. Stay laser focused and dialed in onto numbers, like action and activity. And last few things, the rewards. Well, I have a couple rewards, okay? The rewards are pina colada, strawberry daiquiri, Miami Vice, right? Bananas, Baileys, and cream. These are all tropical cocktails that will be available for your pleasure. White Russians at the Bahamas. Okay, what are the rewards? Well, how about the income that comes from it? What are the rewards? How about the radar? What are the rewards? How about this year? I can't wait to see the 5 to 10 TLA members who went from 0 to hero, meaning you weren't even going to get a territory or get a spot as an assistant, but your push put you on the radar. Happens all the time. I'd like to minimize the people who went from hero to 0, though. And that happens too when you post a 0. Okay, that's really important. And you guys know all the trip qualifications, 8, 12, 16. But we also have PRs in the mix. Raise your hand if you already have some PRs either already officially in the mix or pending and about to be interviewed, ready to rock and roll. I love all the hands up. Okay. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll talk about the year-end Vector Cutco Awards. This is the guest highlight. This is the registration. Okay. And then last but not least, we're going to end this meeting today with a Florida United 50-plus rep-driven session. So during every break, 3 things you want to be thinking about. And we're going to go right to break after some testimonials. Who are the people that we never got a hold of since Olean? Who are the people that we got a hold of but it never translated into an interview? And number 3, and this is right from Mike Abramowitz on our staff meeting. If we were to call right now, who would be most likely to pick up? So we could alley-oop, meaning hand the phone off to a manager to set for an interview. Okay. In fact, TLA, which everyone mostly TLA, on the board in between now and I said at the end of this meeting and before the TLA prep, we're also going to put all your names and your attack list numbers, current attack list numbers, onto the board so we know where you're at to start. Okay. Cool. Any light bulbs? Do me a favor. Take 30 seconds. Write down your biggest 2 or 3 light bulbs from the first portion of this meeting. If you're a TLA, maybe a few light bulbs on how to facilitate and how to promote. Top 2 to 3 light bulbs real quick. And if you're in TLA, Give me a couple light bulbs as the recipient, as a participant in the meeting, and then also 2 or 3 light bulbs as a facilitator, as a manager to be. Okay, another 15 seconds. And how about this? Anyone want to share either a light bulb as a TLA member or a light bulb as a participant? Trent.
As when you're a facilitator, when you give the talk about, we already have a culture of learning, so I don't need to worry about policing your attention. So if you establish that, then you don't need to worry about people being on their phones.
Yeah, and it's funny how people will put their phones away as I'm saying it. That's true. Like, we pay attention. We don't swipe. Right? We're not swiping up through Instagram during the meeting. Cool. Rob.
Skipping to this week, but try to sell more maybe.
Yeah, skipping. Ready? I'm just keeping it real for the students, right? And I'm not trying to. This sounds a little ego driven. I had a pretty hard major. I was pre-med. Okay, and my senior year, I can tell you, I was taking some pretty hard classes. But I can also tell you that I would bet a lot of money. From my experience in it, maybe college is different because I'm old now. You don't really have to be at the first week of class. Now, some of you are really good students. I have to be. I'm just telling you, if you missed it, I think you can still get a 4.0. Believe me, if that's your case. Giovanni, and then we'll go to a virtual land in a second. Over to San Juan and or the Tampa hub.
Yeah, it's just so underrated how important it is to actually be able to have done something if you're going to teach your reps, right? How are you going to teach your reps and motivate your reps to have a 10K push if you never had a 10K push? And the same thing that Andrew had said, right? Like, how are you going to make your rep or encourage your reps to make 100, 200, 300 calls, and that has never made 100, 200, 300 calls. It tells with the level of confidence that you express. It's very important that you get that done.
Okay, a couple more. Alex?
Yeah, I just wrote down that you have to be more aggressive booking around holidays. So it's definitely something you need to work on.
Okay, yeah, the holidays are not harder to book. You just have to be more intentional with how you do it. Okay, and here's the cool thing. Actually, I take that back. They are harder to book. That's why you have to be more intentional. But they're worth their weight in gold when you get them set. Like the people who say yes on a holiday, awesome customers. How about let's go to Clearwater and or San Juan and or the rest of the virtual land members. Any other light bulbs and takeaways? Let's go to Tampa Clearwater Hub. Any light bulbs takeaways? Mr. Mr. Spiegel, you're up. Hold on.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just put down how we treat the project now, for the push and the preparations, how we're going to start calling next summer.
You know, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, if you can't make I didn't even think about that. If you can't make push calls, how are you going to make PR fire number calls?
Still can't hear you.
You're muted, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. If you can't make push calls, how can you make PR calls? When the goal is to get 150 to 200 PR set for your summers or branch. So good point. Any other on the Tampa side? We'll do one more. Mr. DeFala, thanks for volunteering. What's your take? Give me a light bulb.
I said promote Cutco through college by Connecticut. How they feature your resume.
Good. And by the way, this is being recorded, so you can always reference this and come back to it. Awesome. Let's do this. I want to end before we go to break. I have a few quick testimonies, and I've asked the services, and this is kind of impromptu. So I've got Mila, Miss Amanda from Clearwater. I'd love to get your thoughts from you. Mr. Mason Linker over in Tampa. I'd love to get a few thoughts from you. And Mr. Eric Palacio over here. I'm just looking really quickly, and you guys can come to the front if you want. Just a quick, like 30 to 90 seconds on why the Vector January trips are awesome, why you want to hit the trip, and just thoughts from past winners. And I can just tell you, there's traveling, and then there's Vector traveling. And then there's Vector Florida United traveling, which is really fun. So I'll go ladies first. Mila, I'll have you come up. Mila is a trip winner. Mila is a past pilot assistant, and Mila has experience. Also, Mila has taken initiative with the damn push here, and we're really excited. So we'll do snaps for Mila. Snaps for Mila. Mila, you're up.
Caller.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Can I fix it?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay.
So if you're gonna be committing to working your butt off and really pushing for the January push, then you might as well kind of put in that extra work to hit the trip at the highest possible level. You know, if you are gonna be working as hard as you need to and want to, then why not reward yourself with a fully paid vacation? Also, when I went to Cancun recently in October, I got to not only see a lot of my friends in the business that I hadn't seen in a while, but I also was able to build a lot of new relationships with reps that, or with TLA members that I wasn't, you know, too close with before, like Mike Sullivan, Mason Linker. Me and Amy were roommates, so that was kind of a chance for us to connect as well. So you're able to really build your social capital within our division and within the region as well, because it is a region trip. And also I wanted to use this kind of as a shameless plug for those of you who aren't signed up yet for the damn push. The easiest way to really maximize your time during the actual push period is to go into it with some momentum and some confidence already. And the best way to do that is to already have demos under your belt, get more recommendations, get those like really rusty demos out of the way if you haven't picked up the kit in a while. So we're going to be having calls every weekday next week at 8 a.m. We're doing a lot of crazy fire instruction, and they've all been recorded if you want to go back if you missed last week. Perfectly okay with those of you who aren't signed up if you want to just start this week if you're kind of crazy with finals, so reach out to me about that. But
Shameless
hit
plug.
Bahamas.
Snaps for Camilla. Let's go over to the Tampa hub. Miss Amanda Swanson, a couple thoughts on hitting trips? There you go. You're up.
Hello.
There you go.
Can hear me?
Yep.
Hello, everyone. So I won last year's winter break push to Punta Cana, and the Vector trips are so awesome because you get to network with everyone in the company. It is across the region, and it's an opportunity for you to connect with other people. So when you go to conferences like SC2, you already know everyone. It's like a family reunion. And it's one thing to go on a trip with mom and dad, but it's another to go with, 100, 150 Vector people, and also to connect with those division managers in the company. The majority of the division managers, district managers are there as well. Aside from that, I wanted to give a quick little tip on how to stay on top of the push. So play to the rule of 8. Basically what that means is if you have 4 demos for a day, you should also schedule 4 demos a day. If you complete 6 demos for the day, you should schedule 2. Always keep demos in front of you, so that way cancellations occur and you're just replacing the demos that you're doing, because that's the key. 4 demos, more money, more CPO, and that's how you win the trips. So
Nice.
I wish to see you all there.
Nice. How about Mr. Linker? Is he over there? Oh.
Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Okay. How about, thank you, Amanda. How about Mr. Linker? Is he over there?
Yes, yes.
There he is. What's up, college?
What's going on? So yeah, I'm just gonna reiterate what Amanda and you said. Not only is it super cool to go on a trip, it's all you could eat and all you could drink, but the connections that I made, I hear the names like Eddie and Eric and Mila and Mike, but I never really spent quality time with them, out by the pool, and hanging with Jeff is cool as well. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. There's no reason not to hit it. If you're already working, you might as well just put in the extra effort and hit the benchmarks.
Yeah, but you're working anyway, right? Might as well go to Bahamas for free. I'm just saying. Mason, well done. Thank you, sir. Let's go, Mr. Palacio. You want to wrap us up? Yeah. Yeah, come on up. And then we'll go right to break.
I'll try to keep mine 30 to 90 seconds.
All right, cool. He will do it.
Why would you want to go to the Bahamas? I mean, one, you're pushing already, right? You're working your butt off, you're on the grind, and you're getting paid really well to do it. You're getting really great resume experience, so why not just add $2,000 to $3,000 trip on top of it for fun, right? And who are the people that typically hit the trips? The top people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so who are you going to be hanging out with for 2 to 3 days on an all-inclusive, all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink water and soda, All expenses paid trip. Right? All the people that you're gonna be wanting to talk to, right? Yeah. I remember my roommate was Eddie Las Cuevas. Whoa, that guy. We had a great time. I had some great conversations with Mike Sullivan, Mason Linker, and some of the DVMs. Jeff's not the only DVM in the region. I got to have great conversations with Brown Herman, Trey Ketchum, Trey Harris. Those are people that they want to know your name, and you want them to know your name. Those are the kinds of people you're going to meet on the trips, on top of all the fun that you're going to have, and all the experiences you're going to be able to get, and all the cool pictures you get to take with Luke. That's what I got for you.
All right. Thank you, Eric. So with that being said, we're going to end up going to a quick break. It is now 11:45. We're right on time. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Let's be seated a little bit before noon so we can really get at it and have our next message. We're going to start with Mr. Carlos Cordero right at noon. Mr. Michael Ramos, I'm going to have an exchange with you and set up the broadcast. I'll give you a call, and let's take a quick, short restroom break. Sounds good? Thanks, guys.
Don't ever room with Eddie.